Three, two, one. What up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 7 of the Chino and the Cholo podcast. I am G the Chino,
I'm Mike the Cholo.
and we're here for episode 7. I think I already said it. I don't remember anymore. Of the show. This week we have a lot to cover. For once, we do have some storylines in Dark to cover. BTE was almost an hour. And then a very exciting episode of Dynamite that included the first round action of the AEW World Title Eliminator Tournament Spectacular Gold Rush Chase Tournament.
And one of the best entrances of the year.
And a very controversial steak dinner. So,
Oh, God. We have to go over that one.
yes, we do. So starting off, let's go through Dynamite, BTE. So BTE opens up with the Bucks hanging out in, I guess, the backstage area, you could say. And Tony Khan's inviting them over to talk about all the fines that they own. And that they were like, well, do we still have time? Because we have to go be with Brandon for his match tonight on Dark. And they're like, oh, yeah, we got time. So while they're having the interview, Brandon gets told by Christopher Daniels that his match is up next. He got pushed up 5 matches.
Before we move forward, I love how Matt was like, hey, Nick, can you spot me?
Yeah, and he's like, you ain't got the money? And he's like, no, I don't.
Too many super kicks.
Yeah. He's like, how many people have you been super kicking? And he's like, just keep an eye on the clock. So Brandon ends up not having anybody there at ringside. Of course, we know it's another count out. So that puts their battle of the defeated still at 2 draws. So then he comes back after and he catches up with the Bucks, letting them know, like, where have you been? They're telling him that they had a meeting with Tony and that they didn't know it switched. And he's like, Hangman's right. You guys are just selfish. And they're like, why are you believing in the Hangman? We're the ones that take care of you. And he's like, Hangman's right. You guys just use me as a prop and only when you need me. And they're like, yeah, you're a prop. Go ahead and go film BT. Get to work and go film more props, more segments for us. And that's pretty much where it ends. Because they're like, you're lucky we even gave you 2 contracts.
So feisty.
Throwing it
Bucks.
throwing it in their face. So then from there, we get a return. We have the Dark Order rolling down the corridor there, and they run into Skyland. Why do I keep saying Skylander? Statlander.
Statlander.
I don't know why I keep thinking Skylander the game. Statlander comes back, or sitting there, and after a little back and forth, she decides to kick him in the nuts, or hit him in the nuts with the crutch. Which is it? I think it's getting there. Oh yeah, she hits him with the crutch. And walks off, which, you know, her being there on site means that she's getting close to coming back, which we haven't seen since May, right? That's the last time she wrestled? Or was it before that? It's been a good while since she's wrestled.
Sorry. She hasn't wrestled, I believe it was since that when Britt Baker. Because I think she tore her knee up that match too.
Yeah, so that
It was Sheeta and Statlander versus Britt Baker and Nia Jax, probably.
So before All Out, then, I would say.
Yeah, before All Out. Way before All Out.
So then, from that segment, it cuts into the Hardy family, Wolfgang and I think Maxwell, I think that's their names, go and try to give the Young Bucks a letter. And I forget what's on the letter. I'm trying to see here if it says... Oh, they asked for autograph. That's right. They asked for the autograph, and then they tear up the autograph. So then they go crying back to Matt. And Matt comes back and says, I appreciate the way that you're being mean to my children. He's you can't have sympathy on them so they can grow up and be successful and strong. So don't worry. In about 10 years, you guys will be jobbing to them. And it'll be great. Which goes back to the fact that, of course, the Hardys were... putting on the Bucks back 3-4 years ago before they went back to WWE, and had their own full matchups. So then from there we jump over to Luchasaurus and Matt Hardy in the first round of this episode of Gator Golf for the BTE title, and Luchasaurus is complaining that why are they using a gator and not a dinosaur in the golf, but Matt Hardy ends up winning after a very, very long, like 13-shot game, 8-shot game. Matt Hardy wins to go on, and then from there, we jump over to Christopher Daniels checking on the Bucks, letting them know that he's part of talent relations, and he's seeing that there's not a lot of relationships between the Bucks and everybody else, that they're super kicking everybody, including Tony Schiavone, breaking Tony Schiavone's phone, breaking Brandon's laptop, and then now they're super kicking everybody, cameramen, referees, all that good stuff. So he just wants to let them know that if anything's taking a toll on them, that he'll go ahead and help them because he's been there. He's known them for a long time, and that he's just a really good friend, and that he wants to be there for them. And that's pretty much it. They don't actually respond to it. Then from there we cut to Brandon talking to Kenny. That why is Kenny not celebrating the 1 year anniversary show? And Kenny's like, I really didn't do anything. He's like, I was just part of a tag team and trying to put people over, but I didn't do anything special. Just trying to make the company look good, and that now he's getting ready for the tournament because it's his time and he knows a thing or two about tournaments. And he's like, yes, Kenny, that's true, you do. And then he says, I'm just going to sit here with a new attitude and a belly full of Skittles. And he happens to be eating the dark side Skittles, foreshadowing that he may be turning to the dark side, which we will find out later in the Dynamite review part of the show. I want the blonde, I want the blonde hair streak back. Can we get leather jacket Terminator cleaner? That's what I want.
I want the messy hair, like dark hair Kenny. I want Bullet Club Kenny back.
Yes. I want Bullet Club back. New Japan, just bring the license over. I'll make $1 billion.
You don't, I mean, they might. Now that we're kind of working with them.
Yeah, hopefully. Then from the Kenny part, we jump to the Dark Order trying to go into their clubhouse, which happens to be everybody's clubhouse. If you watch anybody's vlogs, that's like the only area I guess they can vlog. Dean Malenko's in there. So there's like, you tell Dean Malenko to get out, and he's like, that's a man of 1,000 holds, and there's only 5 of us. He's like, you try to go. He has like 1,000 holds. So then they end up in the EVP's office. And I love how Anna Jay's always just sitting on top of something. She's like never like on the floor. She's always on top of the chairs or like there on top of the soda machine. So then they start cracking jokes at I guess it's 5? The blonde hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. So they're
Fallen Angels.
Yeah, they're picking 5 and they ask him what does the tree tell the branch when he's getting evicted? And they were like, what? He's like, to leave. And then they were like, hey, 5, what's that under there? And he's like, huh? And he's like, what's that under there? And they keep going and going. And he's like, underwear. He's like, ha, you said underwear. So then they all have one big old laugh. And then Silver pretends to call Brody Lee. And he tells them that that they're both pieces of shit, 10 and 5. So he tells them, Brody Lee said, grab the stack of papers and slap yourself. And he's like, well, let me talk to him. And he's like, no, he don't want to talk to you. He just wants to talk to me. And then from there, they slap themselves and they leave. And he's like, dumbasses, I don't even have Mr. Brody Lee's number. And that like ends the random segment of them there. Then the Young Bucks plug their book that if you buy like 17 books, you get a bunch of free shit. Which was funny because it all just sounds like it's all the same thing. So you buy 1 book, you get a thank you video. You buy 2 books, you get a thank you video and an early blurb of the book. And if you buy 3, you get the thank you video, the little blurb, and a VIP message because they don't do Cameo. So that's the best you're gonna get. Then from there, we jump to Sammy and Fuego del Sol taking each other on in Gator Golf. So to fully get a full enjoyment of that segment, you do need to watch Sammy's vlog with it. Because Sammy before is talking about how he wants to win, so Fuego del Sol needs to throw the game away. And then the Young Bucks are like, well, if you win, you kind of have to be booked so we can have you continue playing. He's like, so if you win, we'll book you next week too, and we'll pay for your flight and your hotel and your travel to come out here. So Fuego actually tries, and he beats Sammy. So he's booked for next week's Dark, or I guess this week's Dark. And then on Sammy's vlog, he's coming out and he's like, "Damn it, I lost. Like he was supposed to throw the game for me." So then Fuego del Sol comes out and he's like, "Oh, Sammy, you're the best. Like you threw the game away, so that way I can be booked again. Well, you're a best friend. You're a great friend." And Sammy's like, "Yeah, that's right. That's what I did. I threw the game away." And he's like, "But you'll owe me later if you win. Like you owe me a favor now, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I owe you a favor." And then later on, he's going to on Sammy's vlog. He goes and tells everybody who they think is gonna win, Fuego del Sol or I forgot who he fought. Damn, who did he wrestle? Scorpio Sky. That's who it was. The Scorpio Sky versus Fuego del Sol. And,
yeah.
And everybody was like, "Who the fuck is Fuego del Sol?" And then it has John Silver, and John Silver's all, "Fuego del Sol." I don't know Spanish, so I don't know who the fuck that is. And then, like, it cuts back later, and he's like, "Wait, so Fuego's like fire, so fire of the sun?" He's like, "Yeah, no, fuck that guy, Scorpio Sky." And then Chris Jericho comes out too, and Chris Jericho's like, "I don't even know who the fuck Fuego del Sol is." He's a Scorpio Sky. That's my pick. Only Cody's the only one that has like any idea who Fuego del Sol is. So like he's like, "Oh yeah, he's the best. You're gonna win, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna win." And then he ends up losing, and Cody's he's all, "Man, fuck this guy. This guy sucks." He's all, "QT, don't book this guy anymore. He sucks." So it's a great little Fuego del Sol moment. Who's an idiot? And then you have Peter and Brandon that were supposed to be next in Gator Golf, and of course they got disqualified because they can't win anything. So then they get replaced by Matt Sydal and Colt Nakazawa. So Nakazawa wins in actually 2 strokes, which I think is like the best score anybody's had in Gator Golf here. So he moves on as a last minute add-on and beats Sydal. And then from there, we jump into a private party.
Before we go to that, going back to Fuego del Sol, I just remember this. You remember when he won, he was doing the worm?
Yes.
And he almost fucking, like hit his, face at the suitcase. Because he had the suitcases.
Yes.
I was like amazed. And he almost hit his face on the suitcase.
I always love how Sammy always treats him like crap. Like in that vlog, he like wakes him up with like a bucket of water. He's like, "Hey, wake up! You're booked today." So it's always funny watching Fuego del Sol get picked on. So yeah, we're back to the private party. So there's a whole bouncer and everything. Leva Bates is the first one to show up to the private party, and then Cody's, of course, the second one, because he has a Swedish fish. He's Nick, Matt and Nick. Y'all can just edit me out of the video. I just wanted a party. Is what Cody says before he goes into the room. Then Sammy tries to go in and gets rejected, and so does Dark Order. They're like, "No +1," and Cody's like, "Yeah, fucking no +1s." Then like all of the cast of Dark goes in there. Sunny Kiss is in there. Yep. I guess the makeup artist, because I don't even know who that girl is. I've never seen her wrestle. Then one of the guys from Dark's like, "I have wet hair. What do you mean I can't come in?" And then the referee even makes it. I forget which referee it is. But he even makes it into the party. And that's pretty much where the segment ends there. So then from there, we cut to the press conference that everybody's been waiting for. So Tony Khan makes an appearance on BTE as Brandon has his lawyer, Luchasaurus, escort him there. And Peter Avalon has his fellow librarian, Leah Bates, with him, and his hood assistant, Ricky Starks. And I love, is it Tony that tells him? I think it's Tony. And he's like, wait a minute, he's a hood associate. He's all, "Does that mean you're like Kevin Hart and Get Hard?" And he's like, "Yeah, except way cooler and way more beautiful."
He couldn't stop laughing.
I know.
He was like laughing.
And then they had questions from the crowd for the press conference. So one of them was to Peter, and he says, "Why are you such a bad wrestler?" And he's like, "I'm not a mud show wrestler. I actually had some training." Which of course that's Jim Cornette's favorite line for everybody there, just bunch of mud show wrestlers. And then pretty much every other question was for Brandon. And I'm trying to look at here some of these questions, but you could even see Tony trying not to laugh too. That they were like, Brandon, you would have won if you would have cheated, but you decided not to cheat. So do you regret that now? And he was like, no, I have to stick to my morals. I have to stick to my morals and not cheat. And then they say that Brandon, is it true that what people say that you're a big-headed dumb virgin? And he was like, I was told by my lawyer to say no comment. And then Ricky's like, how the hell did he have 3 kids? So Tony said that it was this week on Dark, but I guess it's next week on Dark, that they're going to have another match and that there will finally be a winner. So here is my prediction on that match. It's going to be a double pin.
No, you know what? That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious.
And then they both win.
That would be freaking hilarious.
Yeah, so it's going to be a double pin, so it ends up still being a tie because they already got counted out. They already got disqualified, so what's left? A double pin. Or they're both going to just, like, pass out. One of the two. Like
they should make it an Iron Man match.
Yes, and they should make it the opposite. Whoever gets the least amount of wins the match. Something stupid. I just don't. Like I said, I would love to have somehow where it's like where anybody can come in and win the match and leave a bait just pins them both.
I actually really enjoyed that. I liked how they made it like a serious but not serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Khan, he's such a geek.
Yeah. I cannot take him seriously as somebody who owns this company.
I can't either. He just looks like a fucking dork.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a dweeb.
I do agree where they always say that he just looks like a Make-A-Wish kid that like his dad let him buy like his favorite toys. That they're like, it's just like, instead of toys, they're real life people, and he's like, oh, I like that wrestler, I'm gonna buy that wrestler, and his dad's like, okay, here you go. Like that's literally like what it looks like half the time.
Oh, fucking Tony Khan. Well, whatever. He's a mark. That's what he is. Fucking mark.
He's a permanent marker. But that wraps up BTE, which of course now has me excited to watch Dark for once. Next week, I guess.
Oh man, I thought it was this week, so I was watching it, and it's like nothing. I was like, damn it! I was disappointed with a lot when they didn't show it. But what I will say though is that Dark had some interesting things in it, storyline wise. That like when Scorpio Sky won, like him and Perfect 10, Sean Spears.
Yes.
They've been going back and forth, and that after Scorpio Sky won, his music, Sean Spears' music played, and he's like freaking out, trying to see what angle he's coming from, and then Sean Spears never comes out. And it's like playing mind games. So they're going to continue that. I think that's eventually going to be on Dark somehow. And then when the Butcher and Blade, they fought. No, it was.
Yeah, I thought
it was Ray Phoenix. It was Ray Phoenix. No, it was Pentagon versus Apple Guy.
No, it was Ray Phoenix. It was Ray Phoenix versus
No, I guess it was Pentagon.
Was it Pentagon?
It was Pentagon.
Yeah, versus QT Marshall.
Yeah, QT Marshall, and then Allie comes out, kind of as a distraction.
And she has her bunny
and
ears.
Pentagon wins. So those were
because in real
matches.
Because in real life they're together, which kind of throws the whole kayfabe line out. Because she supposedly had a crush on QT, but she's been married to, I think, Butch Blade since they came on together. That's why like she was brought on. So that's a kind of weird story, not story thing. But yeah, looking forward to that. I think they'll have one more draw between Peter and Brandon, and then they settle it at Full Gear in the pre-show match. That's what I would do. But I would make
An
it.
Iron Man match.
I would, but I'd make it like a. Make make it something stupid like they have to like read like a children's book the fastest, and then like a Dungeons and Dragon like dice throwing thing, and then like the last one's like a actual like match, just like something to kill time, and that's why you put it on the pre-show, and then and then it like end up. I would have to say like maybe have like Leva Bates turn on Peter Avalon, and then side with Brandon because Brandon's nice. Because, you know, she's... I don't know what she is anymore. She's supposed to be a heel still, or she's face, or what. So that's how I would have it end. And then Brandon be like, no, my win's tainted because she cheated. She helped me cheat to win. And that's how you end the... You end the 6-month run since it's been going on since COVID. But now, to to Dynamite. So, of course, this is the first night of the World Title Elimination Tournament. So the first match ends up being Jungle Boy, accompanied by the rest of Jungle Express. Why did that sound wrong? Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt versus Mr. Mayhem is what they're calling him now, apparently. Wardlow on his 8-match winning streak.
Spoiler alert, he ends up winning 9. We can skip this. It was kind of a squash match.
Yeah, it was.
It was a squash match.
Which was kind of nice because it's showing that they're building him up and not just like having him there for nothing. But I'm still not ready for him to break up with MJF yet. But we'll get to that later. So they have... so he won. Then from that, they get a major announcement from Tony Khan that he let the broadcasting team know that at Full Gear, the AEW Championship will be on the line in an I Quit match between Jon Moxley against Eddie, now Mad King Kingston. Now he has a nickname. So we will see. We will see promos from that later on in the show. But following that announcement, you have Kenny, the Southside Cleaner, Omega, versus the Concrete Rose in a legit squash match. Of course, this was a last-minute change because Joey Nutella caught COVID from an indie show right before this. So they had to make a last-minute change. But I kind of feel like that's the worst person to fill in. Not because Sunny Kiss is like a jobber, but the fact that, Sunny Kiss is Joey Janela's partner, so, in a sense, they're kind of connected and hang out together in kayfabe theory, so why would you have the roommate of somebody with COVID replace the person with COVID? That just seemed kind of weird.
The roommate?
Well,
Wait,
I mean,
roommate with that guy?
They're not actual roommates, but, like, in kayfabe, like, they're supposedly, like, partners, so they hang out all the time, like, you would assume kayfabe-wise, so... Oh. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure they, like, work out together and stuff when they're not, like, there. So, that, I don't know, that just seemed kind of weird to me, to pick the person closest to Joey Janela to be his replacement when he has COVID. Like, you could have replaced him with anybody else. You could have put Hobbs in there.
It's kind of like...
Pineapple
like
Pete.
If you do MMA, right, and your teammate goes down, they'll replace you with another teammate because they already know... the game plan. So I think that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Did you skip over Kenny's entrance?
No, I haven't gotten there yet. I was just talking about how I just thought it was weird that they replaced him with Sunny Kiss and not somebody else that may not have COVID.
Well, since we're already here, let's talk about this. So Kenny comes out and fuckface, Justin Roberts. I always forget his name. He comes out and he starts announcing, like, giving all the accolades, like the 2017 and 2018
number one wrestler of the year,
number one wrestler of the year, the number one ranked wrestler of the year,
the the G1 Climax winner.
He broke the Meltzer scale
7 times.
And then it shows a little cool, like, it's a different music
and
a little different video, and it's actually pretty cool. And Kenny just gained it. You just see his silhouette.
Yes.
And then it pans over, and you see, I think they're Jaguar cheerleaders. They
Yeah.
have a broom, they're just sweeping and they're dancing the whole routine. And like Kenny's music finally plays out, and he gets the pyro,
Yes.
goes off, and it was one of the coolest. It was almost, I would say, it's almost like a Wrestle Kingdom entrance.
Yes. Now the
Ah,
only I wouldn't say gripe. The only thing I have of it, if you're looking at it from the eyes of somebody who doesn't know Kenny Omega, is that I mean, we know what the brooms stand for, but to some people are gonna be like, why the fuck are they holding brooms? Like there should have been some type of, I would say maybe the week before kind of tease it, like maybe where he's talking and he has like a broom in his hand and kind of leave it and then they'd be like, oh, the broom, the cleaner. Remember when Kenny used to be the cleaner? Like have a conversation about it, because for
that's
the
true.
average fan who doesn't follow New Japan, um, are not really gonna know, and they're just like, why the hell are they holding brooms? Like the gimmick itself doesn't need to be explained. People will figure it out as it goes. But the fact that it's like iconic, it's kind of like when Finn Balor started doing the gun signs over in NXT. Like you kind of knew because they kept mentioning it, like, oh well, you know, he was in Bullet Club in Japan, or they were in. I don't even say they. I don't think they referred to it as Bullet Club, but they're
Yeah,
like, yeah, he
they
was.
can't say book off.
Yeah, I think they're like he was in the New Japan organization where that was his hand sign, or you know, reminiscences of back of Japan, so people can like do the research and find out on it. But yeah, same thing there. They should have been like, oh, the broom, is this the cleaner Kenny from Japan? Then that at least people know like, oh, that's something from Japan. Let me find out who the cleaner is. So that's my only gripe on it. But you know, like everybody says, pretty much the 90% of the fan base know New Japan stuff, so it's not a big deal. But you know, trying to grab the new market and the new people, that would have been something that might have been a little bit better to explain. But still, great entrance. So yeah, Kenny doesn't even puts in what 3 moves and that's it. He hits him
So
with the
what
V
happens
trigger.
is they handshake or they high five or whatever. They do a little circle. Sunny Kiss is waving to the crowd. So Sunny Kiss turns around, V trigger into a. Then Kenny picks him up, one winged angel, and it's over.
So I'm actually playing it right now. So the entrance lasted 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and the match itself lasted 25 seconds.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it started at 2 minutes and 20 seconds and ended 2 minutes and 25 seconds. And they still had an extra minute and a half to put in there to just show him just celebrating the win. So you can actually watch the whole match in its entirety with the interest on AEW in under 4 minutes. So Cleaner is back, and he's going to take on the winner of the next match, which is the brother versus brother, which was the match I was kind of looking forward to, which is Ray Phoenix versus Pentagon, or as they as they put it here in the title, one half of the Lucha Brothers versus the other half of the Lucha Brothers. In the match, it's a good Lucha Libre style match. You have a lot of Phoenix swinging around the ropes when he gets thrown into it, dives off the ropes, a lot of acrobatic Lucha Libre stuff that you would expect from them. Um, and it's not until the end, when Pentagon tries to break his brother's arm, and then who was here? Wait, Ray Phoenix won? I thought Pentagon won.
What are you talking about?
I thought Pentagon won. No.
No, Ray Phoenix won. I think.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Ray Phoenix won.
yeah, he won with the week after Destroyer. Um, oh yeah, I left the room real quick and I didn't even realize who won. But yeah. So now you have Ray Phoenix taking on Kenny, which if it's anything, it's probably gonna be a squash match. I really thought this was gonna go to a draw, and I thought they were gonna like just advance Kenny to the finals, because they did say if you get this if it goes to time, that there was no like overtime. It just automatically took them to um you automatically got eliminated. So that's what I was thinking, that maybe they're just gonna like push Kenny to the finals and make Hangman have to go through all the trouble to help build the sympathy up for him as a babyface. That
That reminds me of a WWE King of the Ring storyline. That happened in the WWE where
I think it was The Rock that got
it
like
was. You're right. You're right. It was The Rock. Yeah, because I think it was Undertaker and Kane got eliminated, or they got double counted out or something like that,
yeah,
or
and then I
draw.
think yeah, and then I think The Rock ended up like getting an advance and moved on or something like that. Well, somebody did, but yeah, it was something like that. They got double eliminated. Um, but I guess because they wanted it, but I mean, I don't know if I really want Ray Phoenix to get squashed by Kenny. That's
I don't think it's going to be a squash, but I think Kenny will dominate from a door. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
think Ray Phoenix will get some moves in, but then Kenny will just take over.
No. So now that we have, I guess, one side of the bracket set, it's time to set the other. So, we have Hangman Page taking on Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
Boom, boom. Colt
he
Cabana.
he thought he was gonna have Johnny Hungry and Reynolds out there with him, but they were like, "Nah, you're on your own." So Evil Uno comes out with them. Um, so I was eating at this time, so I actually didn't I heard the match, but I didn't see the match. Um, but I'm pretty sure it was like Hangman taking most of the work, according to what I'm reading here. Um, and then Colt was trying to go for the Chicago Skyline, but Hangman countered it and then hit him with the buckshot lariat for the win. And then
Is that
finally,
why he called that stupid pin?
uh, yeah, not the
I hate
pin,
that
but
pin.
yeah, that's what he calls it, the Chicago Skyline.
The pin is so stupid. He like just like dives.
Yeah,
Like, how do you not kick out of that?
or like just spin him over and flip him over. Um, so then from that, the Dark Order came out and assisted him, but now we got Warlord and Page on one side, and you have Phoenix and Omega in the other. And then comes to from the break, we come to another episode of Jackass. So Team Taz
God, that
comes
was
out.
just stupid.
So Team Taz comes out and is very upset that Brian Cage and Absolute Ricky Starks does not get a title shot, and they're mad that Hobbs didn't answer back if he wants to join them or not, and that they're really pissed that Darby Allin is now getting a TNT title shot at Full Gear, which was foreshadowed in last week's episode while he was sitting in the bleachers. So he gets to take on the winner of Orange Cassidy and Cody from next week's episode in the match. So why this is or I guess no, Jackass is later on. So yeah, they just come out mad about it. So then from there, we cut to Mike's favorite part of the show, the very, very controversial but probably boosted the ratings. The La Dinner Derriere with the Demo God and the ratings ruler, MJF and Chris Jericho. So it starts off with them arguing with, trying to one up each other by ordering their steak. And I kind of figured where it was going as soon as MJF said, "I like it well done." And I was like, he does not look like somebody who eats a steak well done, but okay. So then Chris Jericho's like, "Well, I'll take mine medium well." Then MJF's like, "Well, I'll take mine medium." And they go back and forth to the point where Chris Jericho ends up ordering his steak blue rare. And from there, they start arguing, or they start arguing with each other. And then they both talk about how they make a joke about Orange Cassidy, and they both laugh. Then from there, they break into song and dance. It is a redo of the 1940s song "Me and My Shadow" by Frank Sinatra and what's his name, Sammy Davis Jr. They changed some of the lyrics here, so some of the important funny lines in the song there is where is it here? It says MJF sings, "We're closer than a recliner thrown at Matt Hardy's forehead geyser," which goes back to Matt Hardy getting hit with the chair and bleeding out like crazy. Then Jericho says, "We're closer than snakes are. They slide through the grass. We're closer than Cody's to a jackass," which goes back to their original agreement that Cody's a jackass. And then it cuts to towards the end of the song. They mention that Both of them say we are swinging. To mention a few, we'll drop into Chili's. Hey, Young Bucks, screw you. Which is my favorite line, which goes back to BTE, where the Young Bucks lost their Chili's contract, and now the Dark Order has it. Which would have been funny if like John Silver would have came out with a plate of Chili's. That's really all they needed to make that better. So, it's new. It's splitting the room. Half the people liked it, half the people hated it. Mike is on the hated side.
It's not wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't wrestling. This is just gimmick, stupid. Sorry if I sound like Jim Cornette, but this has no place in wrestling. It wasn't funny. I didn't like it. Like, it was just what are we doing? Fucking karaoke now? Like, it's just
this kind of reminds me when WWE does like the 4th of July parties. Like
segments, the barbecues, and then the food fights. Yeah, it's like, what was the point of that? It's stupid. Like, what was the point of this? You know what I mean? Like, till this day, we still don't know who threw the fucking pie at Kevin Owens. You know what I mean?
That was Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali is everything. He was the hacker. He's the leader of Retribution, and he's the one that threw the pie. That's true. And he's Vince McMahon's illegitimate son. He's all of those in one. Which I personally think, as much as they're probably not going to announce it, or they probably will later when Jericho does another tell-all interview, I think this is to answer Jim Cornette, because he keeps saying that the whole time that they've been doing segments, he's like, this is literally some Saturday Night Live bullshit. So I think they were like, if you really want to see Saturday Night Live bullshit, we'll give you Saturday Night Live bullshit. And I think that's really what this segment was kind of too. But it's one of those, like, if you don't listen to Jim Cornette, you're not going to have any idea that that's what they were actually trying.
I didn't like it. Had no place. How is that going to, them singing, how does that drive the storyline?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people were saying, that it's like, if WWE had done this, if you saw it on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown, everybody and their mom would be shitting on it, regardless of who it was. Like, even if it was R-Truth and, I don't know, some other comedian wrestler that have there. Like, if it was Otis and R-Truth doing the same thing, like, people would be shitting all over it. But because it's AEW, you get the people defending it. And it just, like you said, it just didn't make any sense. Like, I thought, the lyrics are kind of funny in there, but it still doesn't, like, justify the segment and be like, oh yeah, that was awesome. Like, and then it's a really outdated reference, so I really didn't catch what they were trying to parody. I really thought it was just a song they made up themselves. Till I found out that it was a parody of a song. So
I didn't even know what song it was. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I will say though, I was actually shocked that MJF could sing like that. Though, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, wow, good job, MJF.
So,
this is the one segment that I did not like with MJF in it.
I think that's just, and I think that's all it is just a filler for next week for them to set up the match. But just like, then just put them off TV for a week. Like, or I was expecting, having the steak dinner in the actual ring and then like a fight breaking out. I didn't really expect like all of that. So that's what it was like. And like they said, there's not that many heels to go along with the baby faces. So why are you even having them fight each other when they could be fighting and helping other baby faces build?
Yeah.
So, but I think from the beginning they should have had them. Now, did you hear? I think Jericho's interview with Chris Van Vliet, where he was talking about who the original Inner Circle was supposed to be.
Wasn't it supposed to be what's it called? It
was supposed to be the Lucha Brothers, MJF, and they were gonna get some other MMA fighter instead of Hager. But then he was like, I didn't want the Lucha Brothers because they wear a mask and it like limits like what we can do with them. And then I don't know why he didn't want MJF. He was just like, but Sammy, he was like, Sammy was always going to be in there, but he wanted MJF, the Lucha Brothers, and I guess Sammy all together. And then they were going to be called Fist originally. Because Jericho's like, Fist sounds cool, Fist. So let's call him Fist.
And they wanted something like Marvel, like the hands, and they wanted the fist.
Yeah.
So, like, thank God, because imagine if they call him the Fist. Like, oh my God, so many jokes.
Yeah.
So many jokes. Blake on Tony Khan had so much, like, yeah, no.
Yeah, and then somebody else was saying that they had told him, like, they had done an interview, and he's like, yeah, I just keep my inner circle around me or something. And they're like, why don't you use that? Why don't we call him Inner Circle? And he's like, okay. So, like, that's how they got the name. was Inner Circle was from that, so I was like, that's kind of cool. But yeah, imagine if they would have been that Inner Circle. I think you would have had to put the gold on that group. Like with the group they have now, you don't really need the gold because it's just more like assisting Jericho. But yeah, I think that would have helped push them over the edge. So next you have another dark squash match. We had Britt Baker take on Kyla King. Glad to see Britt Baker finally wrestling again. And she's wearing pink to be a role model for women with breast cancer, I think is what they said. And I forgot what she said. She said something about if Tony didn't call it right or something, that she was going to go take him to get waxed again. So now he's being nice so he doesn't get waxed. So yeah, then Britt Baker hits her with the blade to turn into a lockjaw submission to win and do nothing other than give Britt Baker a win. Quick dark match there.
Quick dark match.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's nice that they put a women's match on, but there haven't had any storylines going. I don't know if they just forgot about it or what. But yeah, let's just admit this is like a terrible women's division.
It's because it's limited. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of limited. I mean, I'm not defending it, but I think it's just a tad bit limited.
I mean, but that kind of like, I guess that's kind of where you can specialize in dark, because I know there is a lot of like women's matches in dark. But I mean, that's a great place to start your stars. I know, they get a lot of criticism where they sign WWE stars for everything on the men's division, so why not build the women's division and focus on building the stars? I know it's going to suck for like a couple of years, but you can build like the homegrown stars there, and then they can be like, well, we specialize in homegrown women's wrestlers. And then you have the Thunder Rosas that do the come in to elevate the champion. But I think that's really what they can do with it. But
I'm afraid next week. This is the first time in a very long time that I'm afraid for a wrestling match. Because my girl, Tay Conti, is fucking facing the fucking Abomination girl. I do not like that. She fucking freaks me out, man.
Mm-hmm. Abyss or Abias or...
Yeah, that bitch fucking freaks me out.
She creepy. So after this match, they announced that next week on Dynamite, the TNT title match between the American Nightmare Prince of Wrestling, I forgot what the third nickname was that he called himself that he didn't want to let Justin Roberts say, versus Freshly Squeezed Orange Cassidy in a lumberjack match, which is exactly what we need right now in COVID, is a lumberjack match.
I know, right?
So, which is like the second or third one they've had since COVID, actually. They had the other one between, I think, MJF and Lucha Jungle Boy was a lumberjack match also. So we should see where that goes next week. Part of me kind of wants Orange Cassidy to win. Just to have a fresh matchup. Because I don't want to... I mean, this will be the third time that Darby and Cody wrestle. And at this point, they're probably going to have to give it to Cody. I mean, it could work off good, though. Because you could have Darby win against Cody. And then you set up Ricky and Darby for the title. And it gives it a fresh face for the title. But I kind of want... Just because I want the fresh matchup, but I kind of don't want to see the belt on Cassidy either. Just because
he already has 2 belts.
I was going to say, what would be funny is if he just keeps forgetting the belt. Like, he comes out because he doesn't care. And he just, like, forgets about the belt, and the best friends have to come out and be like, dude, you forgot your belt. And he's like, oh, yeah. That would be something funny to that.
Yeah,
he's like, oh, okay, whatever. But, of course, this all built up to the main event match that nobody is surprised on the outcome. We all kind of figured it out. It's a fatal, I guess here they call it a 4-way, but a fatal 4-way for the number 1 contendership for a tag team title shot at FTR at Full Gear. It is the Butcher, the Blade, and the Candlestick Maker versus the Dark Order, Reynolds and John Silver versus Private Party versus the Super Kick Party of the Young Bucks. I like the ending. So the Bucks pull off the win with a roll up on Private Party, which I only like it because they do mention right before he reverses it that that's how Private Party beat them the first time that they had the tag team tournament was by a roll up, and then right after they say that they have, is it Nick or Matt? Matt. No, it is Nick. I'm too far ahead. Yeah, so Nick ends up rolling them back, or no, it is Matt. Yeah, Matt reverses the roll up and gets the win. FTR is at commentary at this time, and they have a nice little like statue for the trophy. I mean, for the belts to be sat
Wait,
on.
wait. Slow down. You gotta that finish was genius.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of false finishes. I thought at one point Dark Order was gonna win it when they did their little combo finisher, but the finish was from when Private Party beat Matt and Nick Jackson.
Yes.
The first Dynamite, because they go for the Meltzer driver, but Cassidy, what's the other one?
Mark Quinn.
Mark Quinn pulls Nick down, and then Cassidy does reversal, and then that's how they win. But they did that, so I thought they were going to win again, but then they reversed it again, which I think was a botch, because you see him kick out at 2, but then they kind of counted, or he fell or something, and they counted it.
Yeah.
And Young Bucks win, but...
Yeah, no, I loved it too, especially because the announcers brought it up quick enough where it kind of registered when they were like, that's how they won last time, and then he flips it over and beats them.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate roll-up surprise small package roll-up finishes if they're not needed, but I like saving them for, upsets that weren't supposed to happen. But like you said, in this, it's good storytelling because it pays off for those who have been watching since episode 1 and remember it. So I did like the finish in this case.
I really thought that they were gonna win. I was like, oh my god, again? No way! And then the reversal. I was like, oh.
But I still want Dark Order in a tag team match for the title like next week. Because imagine how much more they could push the storyline of John Silver and Mr. Brody Lee had they actually won.
Yeah.
Because like after he lost, that was his like only member of Dark Order that he cared about after he got punched in the face with the chain and got kicked in the chair. And then for him to come back and be like, look, we're winners. We won. We got a number 1 contendership. Even if they didn't win, just the sake of it. But, like we said, they have to make the people happy and you can't be holding it off anymore. So it's time for the FTR and the Young Bucks to get it here. And of course, we know this isn't going to be just the first one. So we'll probably see like 2 or 3 more matches of this. And then after the match, FTR go and give celebratory beers to the Young Bucks, who slap it out of their hands. And while they're there looking at each other, a masked, mysterious, not Tully Blanchard looking old man comes and hits him with a chair. Why everybody for about 4 to 5 minutes can't figure out who the old man with the chair wearing a mask is. So then they do a brainbuster. And people still can't figure out who the old man in the mask is. So then they Brian Pillman, Nick Jackson's foot with the chair. They prop it up to go ahead and jump on it. They do. And at that point, everybody and their mom realizes is that it's been Tully Blanchard the whole time as the man in the mask. And that's the end of the show with them standing tall. So that's what we got after a week of build-up. I mean, I know people are complaining that's predictable, but it's kind of what happens when you have a long build-up. But it's still satisfying knowing like you finally get in the match. Now the question is, does the match going to live up to the hype of 5 years of hyping it up on Twitter? That is the real question. So we shall see.
We shall see.
But most importantly, the cleaner is back. He just hasn't
The
died his hair
cleaner's back, cleaning up stuff. Don't get on my face. Sorry, I got ambushed by my dogs just now.
No, that's what they should have done as a teaser. Remember when that episode of BT when they're talking to Colt about not going in there? They're like, I don't know, he's buying Ray-Ban sunglasses and bleach hair dye, and a broom. And he's something about talking about him becoming the cleaner again. Like they should have done that like last week. Like had like him like talk to somebody and like leave the laptop open and the laptop be like an Amazon list, and it'd have like the bleach blonde hair and like sunglasses, and just left it like that. That would have been great. Just to play back on that. Or a package and somebody open it and be like, who ordered this bleach blonde hair and sunglasses and Ray-Bans? Right? Like that would have been the way to top it all off. But
like who ordered 50 brooms?
yeah, a whole case of brooms. What do we need a case of brooms for? But does this mean the karaoke elite is going to return as well?
Oh my god, the karaoke. Because they need Adam Cole.
Well, I mean, they could get Britt Baker. I mean, I think she's almost over them killing her boyfriend.
Almost.
Almost. So that would be a good replacement. Or Sam. Oh, I mean, I guess Sammy has to leave Dark Order first. I mean, Inner Circle first. But they can have Sammy join them. That would be a good replacement there. But yes.
Or Thunder Rosa just needs to beat him up. He gets amnesia.
Yes.
That's how he leaves the Inner Circle.
Or after the deletion match, he gets his mind reset.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is another match that it wasn't in the notes here, but yes, at Full Gear it is going to be a elite deletion match between Matt and Sammy. I'm kind of hoping, which is what everybody was talking about, that maybe it's a cinematic match where they're gonna have time to edit everything, so that way nobody dies this time, and they can get the full story across, which I'm perfectly fine with that because I really don't trust him in a hardcore match 4 months later after he got a concussion. So that might be the best option there.
Agreed.
And then have Thunder Rosa like beat him up somewhere in the match or something.
Have right up here.
Yes. But yeah, I think overall it's a good show. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if Pentagon costs Rey Fenix the match, which would be kind of weird. But I can see that happening next week.
I can see that too, actually.
And then of course you have Butcher and Blade going there. But I think they're doing a really good job with the build up. I'm kind of excited. Same with the Eddie Kingston. I didn't cover them. The Eddie Kingston and the Moxley promos. So Moxley pretty much says that Eddie Kingston is changed over time. That he kind of forgot where he came from and where he how he was. He changed to do whatever he needed to benefit. And then Kingston turns around and says Moxley's changed as well. When Moxley went to the company up north, he changed his whole mentality and forgot where he's from. So that forced Kingston to change his style because he didn't have any help anymore and was on his own. So that's why he had to like become the savage that he is now. So it's a good personal promo to help build the reason for an I Quit match. Because, yeah, Moxley was like, yeah, you didn't quit, but you were laying there in your own snot where you couldn't even, unresponsive. And then it cuts to him getting choked out with snot coming out of his nose. And then Kingston's like, I've never quit in my life. I've never quit anything. So how are you going to win an I Quit match if I'm not going to quit? So it sounds like it's leading up to a really good match, even though that was like a last-minute feud that nobody was expecting because of COVID and Lance Archer. So we could possibly say thank you, COVID, for maybe an interesting feud. Because who knows where that would have gone had they not have COVID. You might have had Lance Archer again take on Moxley in Full Gear. So I guess that's a good change of plans. So that is pretty much the episode. Did we miss anything else? I don't think we did.
No. Promo's the last thing, yeah.
So I'm excited for next week. A couple of good matches there. So we shall see what happens. We have the quarterfinals to see who makes it to the finals in the tournament. We have the TNT Championship, and I thought there was one more match next week, but announced, but I don't think so. Yeah, but of course on Dark you have Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon for the winless There Must Be a Winner match. So we shall see on that. So, like always for tuning in, thank you guys. And let us know in the comments your favorite part of Dynamite or the part you hate, like Mike. like Mike's hating the promo. Let us know what you think on that too.
I did not like it.
So for that being said, I'm G the Chino,
I'm Mike the Cholo.
and we will see you guys next time.
Number 8.